Tier list, tier list, 90 cheeky tier lists. Tier list, 90 cheeky tier lists. Hello everyone, my name's Christopher Nightingale, and I'm back again with another cheeky tier list. Now today, I'm going to be talking about Walt Disney films, in particular the 2D animated films from the last century, because nowadays we know that Disney has effectively moved away from hand-drawn animation and gone on to computer animation, the same way as like Pixar and all the other animated studios, but they were for a very, very, very long time only doing 2D hand-drawn animation. And so what I'm going to do is do a tier list of their 2D animated classic films. This is everything from the last century. So we're talking from Snow White all the way up to Tarzan, just before the turn of the millennium. So we've got a lot of films to get through, and this is going to be an awful lot of fun. So I'm going to take a drink and let's get right into it. So here's the tier list. We have Animation Classic. So this is classic. Top of the class in terms of not just Disney, but the genre of film animation. We have very good, fun, decent, poor, and any that I've not seen yet. So we have an awful lot of films here to go through. Oh, let's just start in order, shall we? Right, okay. So 101 Dalmatians. I think it's very good. I think it's very good. I really enjoy 101 Dalmatians. I think the animation is a lot more simpler. It's not as flamboyant as some of the other films. I think they were doing it on a smaller scale budget, I think. But I really enjoy the story. It has one of the best Disney villains of all time in Cruella de Vil. She is incredible. I really like the voice casting. I think all the dogs in it are really sweet. They're really well cast. The voices are superb. And I think the story's lovely. It's such a small story, but it's really well done. And it goes by at a fair pace. I mean, it's not a long film. But it really flies by at a rate of knots. But not at the expense of characters, which is, a fair balance, and they do it really well here. So, yeah, I really enjoy 101 Dalmatians. I can easily just put it on and watch it and have a really good time with it. Goofy movie. Good God, I've not seen this film in years. A Goofy movie? Oh, God. Right. I would say it's bad. I remember it being decent. I think there's a really sweet romance in that one. Yeah, I think his son is embarrassed that he has Goofy for a dad. So he tries and hides the fact that Goofy's his dad and all that. I remember it being quite sweet because he has a girlfriend and he didn't want his girlfriend to know that he had Goofy for a dad. And he was kind of embarrassed about, didn't think he was good enough for this girl, and I thought all that was really sweet. So that's the best thing about the film. That's the only thing I remember about the film, but I wouldn't say it's anything more than that, so I'm going to put it as decent. Oh, wow, right, okay. This is a tough one. This is a real tough one. You see, right, Aladdin. Oh, God. It's... Right, okay. Here's what I'm going to say about Aladdin. As a film, I don't think overall it should be Animation Classic. If I was judging this purely on Robin Williams' performance, it'd be right up number one. His performance in it as the genie is incredible. One of the best voice performances ever in any animated film. And that alone should... I don't know whether that alone makes it a classic, because I don't know if the rest of the film hangs well. I think the rest of the film, you see, the rest of it has a couple of good songs. I think A Whole New World is magnificent, and Robin Williams is great. I just don't know if the story is all that good. I think it's not quite at the level to be animated classic. I think it's very good. And Robin Williams, I could watch clips of him as the genie all day, but I don't know whether that alone should make it to animation classic for me personally. Right, Alice in Wonderland. And here's a problem, you see, because I think Alice in Wonderland is... I'm gonna put it as decent. The thing is, I'm not a huge fan of Alice in Wonderland. I don't really find the concept. I find the concept downright bizarre. It's just odd. So I don't know with Alice in Wonderland. I just think it's a bit weird. In the same way, like Spirited Away. I mean, I may do a Studio Ghibli one later in the year, but the same way I don't like Spirited Away because it's a bit too odd. Alice in Wonderland, I've always thought it's a bit surreal, but that's the point of it. That's why people love it. I personally don't love it. But it's not a poor film. I wouldn't say it's a poor film, because it's not. The animation's still great. There's some memorable characters in it. But I'm just going to leave it as decent because it's not one that I would rewatch. But I can't say it's a bad film. It's not. It's just not my cup of tea. Aristocats. It's fun. Aristocats is a lot of fun. It's just fun. I mean, there's no sort of depth to it. You know, you're not going to win Oscars with it, but it's a good fun time, and I like cats, so I enjoy watching cute animated cats have a lot of fun. The romance is really sweet in it. It has the one song that everyone knows from it, like "Everybody Wants to Be a Cat." It has that's the one song everyone remembers. In fact, that's the one scene that everyone remembers, basically, if you talk about that film. Because the rest of it is kind of a bit like, not really much goes on, to be honest. Like, not really much happens other than just watching cute cats wander around for an hour or two. So yeah, it's fun. I'm going to put it as fun. Right, I actually did a university essay on this film. Bambi, I think, is an animated classic. I think it's absolutely majestically done. I think it's stunning. I think in terms of wildlife animation, in terms of animating wildlife and the way wildlife moves, I don't think to this day you could get better than Bambi. They really went to town on how to animate that. And by today's standards, some of it may seem a little bit childish. For definitely the first act, it is a very child-friendly film. However, it does not shy away from tough moments, and there is the one moment that everyone talks about with regards to this film, which is when Bambi's mother gets killed off screen, which is brilliantly done. Brilliantly done, because you don't need to show that. You just need to show the fact that she's not there. And the power comes from that. And Disney knew that. The whole team knew that. David Hand, who did the direction, knew that. it's absolutely perfectly done and really moving. I mean, if you're not shedding a couple of tears at that, then there's something a bit wrong with you. like really, that's really tough stuff. And in a kids' film, you don't expect them to go there, but they do. In fact, in quite a few Disney films, they do that now. But this was the first one, and arguably the best example of how to do it. From that point on, it becomes a coming-of-age story, and it's brilliantly done. It's a classic. It's a classic. It's got to be. Yeah, Bambi, superb. If you haven't watched it in recent years, I highly recommend you go back and rewatch it. It's really, really great film. Another one that has to be a classic, Beauty and the Beast. Brilliant. What can I say? I mean, it was nominated for Oscars. The score, there are so many songs in it that are majestic. Like Be Our Guest, Belle, the opening one, Beauty and the Beast, the Angela Lansbury just singing her heart out. It's absolutely, the whole ballroom scene is exquisite. The story really hooks you in. The romance between the characters, the relationship that develops between the characters is fully believable and really well done. I think it's magnificent. I don't know what more I can say that has not been said before on it, other than it's a brilliant piece of filmmaking, not just animation. In terms of storytelling, if it was a live action, well, it is a live action now, but but in terms of storytelling, this Disney film arguably does it better than, I may speak too soon, but arguably does it better than any other Disney film in terms of pure storytelling. Cinderella. This is my mum's favourite Disney film. I think it's... Oh, God. Is it fun? You see, when I was young, I thought it was pretty good. But I'm giving... it's either shame to put it's decent. Oh, this is going to be a tough one, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's decent. I think there's some good moments in it. I think the villainess is superb. The stepmother, my God, she's scary. That's really well done animation. As you get older, the mice can be a little bit irritating. I mean, I know it's for children. I know it's primarily for children, but even so, the mice can get a bit irritating, and they spend a lot of time on the mice, especially early on. They spend an awful lot of time on the mice, and when you're a kid, you enjoy it. But as an adult, revisiting it, not so much. Like, there's a point. It's like, even for me, and I'm like a big kid at heart, and I quite like cutie stuff, but it's the voices. They actually irritate. They're actually gratingly high. I don't know if they were all on helium, but I've either sped them up, but they are really too high to listen to all the time. It's like, oh God, just be quiet. And I think that's why I'm going to put it's decent. It's almost more the mice's film than it is Cinderella's film, actually. Dumbo, again, is a decent film. A very short film. I think it's only about an hour long. There's one scene in Dumbo which is absolutely exquisitely done, which is where Dumbo has to say goodbye to his mum, and they play that beautiful song over the top. Baby Mine. That is exceptional. Sadly, nothing else in the film comes close to that moment. It's all very simple. There's not really much story to it. It's Dumbo is, shame. There's that one scene which is amazing, and the rest of the stuff is just superficial. Actually, there's not really much to it, to Dumbo. When you really look at it, it's like, oh right, that's a film. It's like they didn't really know what to do, or they wanted to rush it out, and I think they did want to rush it out. Actually, I think they were making Fantasia the same year, and the Fantasia lost a lot of money, and they needed to film out quick, and they threw Dumbo out pretty quick. So I think that's the reason why. But it's decent. It's a decent film. Emperor's New Groove, right? Emperor's New Groove is fun. A couple of my friends will say that that's up there, like amazing. But I think it's fun. I think it's a good time. The humour's great. I think I prefer other films more than Emperor's New Groove. But Emperor's New Groove is a lot of fun. Fantasia, right. This is the classic, innit? This is the classic musical masterpiece. All the classic, done to animation. Mickey Mouse getting followed around by brooms. Being a sorcerer's apprentice and all that. I have only seen clips of it. I have not seen the entire film, the film in its entirety. And I probably should, because in terms of just from the point of view of film history, it's an important film to watch. And a very daring one for Walt Disney. He was basically saying, right, animation is art. I'm going to show that it's art. I don't care if this doesn't make any money. I'm just going to show that it can be art. And he made a very artistic masterpiece. From what I've heard, it's a masterclass in animation, but it didn't make any money, basically. No one want to see it. So... And I haven't seen it either, so I can't pass judgment on it, but I should. I should watch it. In the same way as Fantasia 2000. I've not seen that either. I've heard it's not as good as Fantasia, the original, but I will have to give it a go. And again, Fox and the Hound. I have not seen Fox and the Hound either. I probably should. I've heard it's quite sad. I've heard it's a sad watch, and it's quite moving. So I should probably give it a watch at some point. Hercules. Right, okay. This is probably the definition of fun. This is the definition of great fun. Like, this was Disney. I remember this coming out in the cinema. I mean, I watched it in the cinema. And just thinking that it was just a blast. It was from start to finish. It was just like a blast. Not much story at all. Not much in the way of any sort of character development. It's anything like that. It's just a romp. It is an enjoyable romp. That's what Hercules is. If you go into it that mindset, it is a romp of a film. The best thing about it is James Woods as Hades. We dance, we kiss, we turn around, we schmooze, we go home happy. What do you say? Come on, yeah. that sort of dialogue is absolute gold, and he has lots of it throughout the film. He is the best thing in the film by some distance. The rest of it is, Danny DeVito's all right as Phil, and there's a okay-ish romance. I think it's been done better in other films, but it's just good fun. Oh, that's all I'll say about Hercules. It's good fun. Definitely give it a watch. It's good fun. You may rate it really high. I know a lot of my cousins are probably going to smash Hercules up to like top tier, and that's absolutely fine. But for me, it's just good fun. Right. Hunchback of Notre Dame. Very good. Very good. This is one where they go dark. They really go dark with the story, but my God, they do it well. The story with this really drives this film. You get invested very quickly and it's all about the characters. I think Quasimodo is superb. I think Frodo is one of the scariest villains one of the most realistic villains that Disney has ever done. Esmeralda is great. The gargoyles are alright. I know that on the internet they get a bit of a hard time, but I think the gargoyles are actually alright. I think they're decent. I think every character in this film is very good, and the story is stellar. They had the dark source material, and they kept a lot of the darkness, which was pretty brave for Disney, actually. I don't think this film did too... I remember watching this film... Did I watch it at the cinema? I think I did watch it at the cinema. I remember it being pretty dark. Or maybe I didn't watch it at the cinema. I definitely watched Hercules at the cinema, but Hunchback of Notre Dame came out the year before, so I would have been a year younger then. So maybe I didn't watch it at the cinema, but I remember it not making as much money as the other films, and it being it's a dark film for Disney to do, and the fact that they kept the darkness is a credit to them, because they could easily have not kept the darkness, but they did, and that's why I'm putting it above Aladdin, because I think overall as a film, the story hangs together better, and the film hangs together better for it, and the atmosphere, especially in the last scene, where they're actually having an attack on Notre Dame, and Quasimodo has to rescue Esmeralda and all that, that is sensational. As a finale to a film, not much better than that film. I don't think. I think. I don't think. Getting mixed up here. Right, okay. Anyway, very good. Definitely check it out. Oh, here's another one. In the Hercules camp. In fact, I'm going to put it ahead of the Hercules camp. The Jungle Book is a classic. It's good. I go probably above 101 Dalmatians in terms of just pure fun. But what elevates it above just fun into very good is the songs. The songs are absolute classic. Sherman Brothers knock it out the park again. I think Baloo and Bagheera, their relationship. I'm not too fussed about Mowgli and Baloo. I wasn't really interested in their relationship. The relationship between Baloo and Bagheera, the mutual respect they have for each other that grows throughout the film, that's what got me hooked, and that's what got me sticking around to the end. And I love at the end where it's like, "Oh, for the bare necessities," and like hugging Bagheera, and even Bagheera's getting in on the act, and Bagheera learns to lighten up, and it's like, yes. That's what I remember most about the film, and that's what kept me going throughout it. You then throw in typical 60s stuff that you could only get away with in the 60s, like the fact that you have all the vultures that are not dressed. Vultures dressed like the Beatles. Vultures that look and act like the Beatles is absolutely brilliant. You've got Shere Khan, who is absolutely brilliant. Like, he's a superb performance. I think it's George Sanders in one of his last roles, I think, doing Shere Khan, and he is absolutely magnificent. He steals every scene he's in. Shere Khan steals every scene he's in. Just the way he delivers dialogue. Yeah. For me, that's what elevates it. Those elements elevate it above just being the fun romp it is into something actually very good. Lady and the Tramp. Okay. Lady and the Tramp is fun. I'm going to put it above Aristocrats. For me, it has the best romantic scene in any film. And if you were to judge it on the spaghetti eating scene alone, it would be up here. But unfortunately, that's the only scene that's really memorable in it. And it's an amazing scene. Like, for this is the night, it's a beautiful night, and they call it Bella Notte. And they're eating spaghetti, and it's all that, and it's just like their glances don't say a word because they're dogs, obviously. And it's just, oh God. You're like, this is lovely. This is so lovely. And that's the film. You watch the film for that. That's the film. That's the image that everyone has. That's the scene everyone remembers. It's just a shame that the rest of the film isn't actually that good. Oh no, it's not. It's not that it's not good. It's all right. It's just there's nothing else to it. Like there's nothing else really happens in it. And that's a shame that it can't keep that level of brilliance. But that's why the fact that one scene has put it as high up as fun shows that it must be a bloody good scene. So that's why I've put Lady and the Tramp there. Okay, right. This is, for me, Lion King is animated classic. Songs are brilliant. Cast is magnificent. The way they handle the way they do what they did in Bambi and kill a parent, but actually show it on screen, have the balls to show that on screen, and then the way that's handled throughout the rest of the film, A1. Absolutely A1. It's just magnificent. Songs are brilliant. Songs are instantly memorable. Elton John, superb score. Can You Feel the Love Tonight? One of the most romantic scenes in a Disney film. You've got Scar is one of the great villains. He is truly menacing. He has the best villain song of the entire series of Disney films in Be Prepared, which Be Prepared is actually my favourite song of the film, actually. It's brilliant. It's just a great film. It's a masterpiece. It's a stellar film. Timon and Pumbaa, great comic relief. It's just... everything hits, doesn't it? Really, basically, there's very few misses in it. Everything hits. And that's why it's top tier. Okay, Little Mermaid. I put The Little Mermaid as fun. I think it's a little bit overrated. I may get hammered for saying that. But I do think The Little Mermaid is a little bit overrated. I think Ariel is a great central character. And there are a couple of good songs in it. I think the best song is Part of Your World. Part of My World? Part of Your World? Yeah, Part of Your World. I think Under the Sea as a song is overrated. But I think Ariel is the best thing in it. But the rest of the film isn't all that. I like the romance. I think the romance is sweet. But I just don't. Yeah. Nah. Yeah, for some reason, it just doesn't click with me with the way that other films do. Okay. I saw this film at the cinema, and I really, really like it. Mulan is probably animation classic for me. I think Mulan is absolutely really, really good. Central character is brilliant. The whole premise is brilliant. The premise is the story. You are engrossed instantly. You're hooked in on this girl's journey. The supporting cast of soldiers is so funny. Like, and I'm Chimpo. Hello, Chimpo. It's just brilliant, and and the fact that the songs are great. Mushu is great. Eddie Murphy is. I actually think he's better in this role than he is as Donkey in Shrek. That might be controversial, but I think he's better in this than he is as Donkey in Shrek. I think he, yeah, a lot of the jokes he says just hit, and the climax where they have to, you have the fight in the snowy valley, which is impeccable animation. You then have the fight at the end, which is where they have to save the emperor from the palace in Beijing. That's wonderfully done, with the fireworks and everything. That is great, and the way she finds redemption and justification for her actions, with bringing her family honour in the end of saving the whole of China. It's just great. I think it's way up there for me, Mulan. It's a great film. I haven't seen this film since I was very young. Okay, Oliver and Company. Decent. I remember it being decent. I remember it being. I think it's a Billy Joel soundtrack in it. Yeah, I don't remember there being much story to it at all. I don't think the characters are very memorable. I can't. In fact, that's it. I only remember there's like a little cat, and that's it. I don't remember much about it at all. Mind you, I haven't seen it in a long time, so I'm just going to put it as decent. Peter Pan. Again, it's decent. It's better. I'd take it over Alice in Wonderland, but it's not one I'm going to rewatch a lot. I think Captain Hook's the best thing in it. That's not much more to say about that, really, because it's kind of just. It's almost like that is, for me, that is Disney almost as by the numbers as you can get a Disney film, is Peter Pan. They really did not have to work hard on the source material there. They don't really put too much effort in. I don't think they put that much effort into it. It doesn't seem like they do. It seems like they're a little bit half-assed in this one. Yeah, I'm never really a fan of Peter Pan. Right, Pinocchio. Okay, Pinocchio is one that I wish I liked more because it's one of the classics, like Disney classics. But I think it's just one that I don't engage with. I don't engage with the plot. I don't really engage with the central character other than Jiminy Cricket. I think Jiminy Cricket's great, but I don't know if the rest of the people, rest of the characters are that good in it. The one thing I remember about Pinocchio is When You Wish Upon a Star, which is one of the most beautiful Disney songs of all time. And this film gave us that. But for that alone, and Jiminy Cricket, it's a film that I appreciate and I admire what it tried to do more than I actually like it. So that's why I'm putting it as decent. Same for Pocahontas. I admire it more than I actually like it. I think there's some good moments in it. I think there's some good characters in it. I think the music is pretty good, actually. I like the little raccoon, but that's about it. I wouldn't say it's poor, because it's not, but I don't see, there's not much more to it than some nice visuals. And do you know what the funny thing was? Here's a bit of trivia. They thought that Pocahontas was going to smash the box office. So Disney put all its animation and efforts into this one at the expense of The Lion King. Believe it or not, they actually took animators off The Lion King to work on Pocahontas because they thought Pocahontas would be the better, bigger film. And guess what? They were wrong. Very wrong. I think Pocahontas still made money, but they made nowhere near what Lion King made of, and it didn't get the critical acclaim either. Okay, Robin Hood. Robin Hood is fun. There's some good moments in Robin Hood. I think the central character, making him a fox, is brilliant. Really good action set pieces in it. It's a lot of fun. His romance with Maid Marian is really sweet in it as well. I think it's just a fun romp. It's a fun romp, but there's not much more to it than that. Okay. This might be the only poor that I put on the list. Sleeping Beauty is boring, in my opinion. I'm just going to say that. I just think it's dull. I don't get invested whatsoever in that film. I think it looks nice. It's animated well, but I'm not invested whatsoever in that film. And yeah, this is subjective opinion. Yeah, I don't want people coming to my house with like pitchforks saying that Sleeping Beauty is like the best film ever, and I've just ruined their lives by absolutely slating it. But I just think it's dull. I fall asleep watching it. I don't think anything happens in it. I think it's really takes a long time for anything to happen, and when you get to the end, it's not really worth it either. So I see it's the only film I'm going to put as poor. Sorry. Okay, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the all-time classic. This is the all-time original one. I think I'm afraid I'm putting it in exactly the same camp as Pinocchio, in the sense that I admire what this film does more than I actually enjoy watching it. And my word, do I admire this. Because this was, he had to remortgage his house. He bet everything on this film becoming a success. And if it was not a success, he would have been out of Hollywood. We would have never got any of these other films if it wasn't for this film. And the fact that Disney bet his life on it being successful. And it was successful, and it was allowed to make the rest of the films you see here. But that doesn't mean that I enjoy watching it or would actively choose to keep watching it over and over again. I think there's some bits are really good. I think the dwarves are really well animated. They each have good individual characters. I think the transformation scene is one of the scariest scenes that Disney's ever done, actually. It's one of the creepiest, weirdest scenes that Disney has ever done. And it's super effective. Even now, it's kind of like, yeah, a bit scary, that scene, the transformation scene in this film. But it's beautifully animated, really well done. And, yeah. But it's not one that I would actively choose to rewatch. So it goes indecent. but I admire it. Hands down, I have full admiration for it. Sword in the Stone, decent, average, okay, couple of nice songs. That's about it, really. Not much more I can say about Sword in the Stone. It's just kind of there. Okay, Tarzan. Really like Tarzan. Really like Tarzan. I think the Phil Collins score is magnificent in Tarzan. It's really, really good. Jane is one of my favourite female Disney characters because she's relatably out of her depth. Like, she's relatably it's like proper English, quaint, but totally out of the depth, and it makes their romance completely believable. I think they are brilliant as a couple in this film. I think they totally work. It's exceptionally well done. The romance in this is exceptionally well done. And when you've got Brian Blessed as a villain, what more can you ask for than that? I mean, it's honestly, it's a lot of fun. I think the others I prefer slightly more, just a little bit more. But that's not to say that Tarzan is not a really, really good film. I remember watching it at the cinema and loving it when I was young. Okay, right. The Rescuers. Now, interestingly enough, this tier list has got it a bit wrong because they have The Rescuers, which I believe that's the original Rescuers, which I think is decent, top of decent. Like, I'd put it over Snow White any day of the week. I'd watch The Rescuers over Snow White any day of the week. However, what they are missing is the sequel, which no one talks about ever, which is The Rescuers Down Under, which is miles better than The Rescuers. And they don't have that on this tier list. And if there was The Rescuers Down Under, it would go in very good. But they don't. They just have the original here, which is decent. The original, I think they help a little girl out, and it's all, it's not extremely memorable. It's kind of low-key outside the two main lead characters. The two mice, who are lovely. However, I'm going to talk about the sequel, even though it's not on the tier list. The sequel, Rescuers Down Under, the animation's incredible. They take everything about the two central leads and raise their characters further. There's like a romance that goes on, but it's so well done and well handled. It's beautifully constructed story. It has John Candy as a bird in it. There's in terms of animating Australia, Australia's never looked better in animated form. It's a very, very good film, is The Rescuers Down Under, and I'm amazed it's not on this list. But unfortunately it's not. So Rescuers Down Under would go on very good, and The Rescuers goes here, indecent. Oh. The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which is a collection. The way Winnie the Pooh, a bit of trivia for you here. This is actually not it's a feature-length film, but it's a feature-length film constructed out of 3 short films that were made towards it. Well, the first one was made right at the end of Walt Disney's life. And then they did 2 more short films, and what they wanted to do was put it in a compilation film and put it out as a feature-length film, and that became The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which is absolutely charming, lovely, great fun. It's really sweet. It's really, really sweet. And I love the ending. I know the ending, which is in the book, which is where Christopher Robin tells him that he's not going to be around much longer because he's growing up and he's got to go off to like school. He's leaving Winnie the Pooh behind. He can't always be there for Winnie the Pooh. But whenever Winnie the Pooh needs him, he'll always come and visit. And he's kind of almost saying goodbye to Winnie the Pooh. It's quite a sad scene, but it's beautifully handled in the film. There's a sad end to the book. It's a very similar to Toy Story 3. It's like that type of ending of the fact that Christopher Robin's effectively saying to Pooh, look, I'm growing up. Like, there's a chance that you won't be able to come with me. When I grow up, you might not be able to come with me, but I can always come back and visit, but I won't be here as often. That they do this ending here, and it's done dead straight, to the point, but beautiful animation, and I love that. That's my favourite part of the film, is the ending. But the rest of the film is a lot of fun. It's great. It's great. And that, I believe, is that. So, whew, fair amount of films we got through there, eh? If you've got Disney Plus, all those films are on Disney Plus, by the way. I highly recommend you check them out. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you want, let me know what your favourite 2D animated Disney film is. Put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions. So until next time, everyone, take care.